Sure.
For those who don't know who you are, Wojtek, would you be able to introduce yourself? Give us a little bit of like a 1 minute pitch or a 2 minute pitch of who you are, what you do, where you live.
Okay, okay. Okay, I'm from Poland. It's I think it's pretty nice to tell the people how we met, because when we look back our story, like started over 40 years ago, when
Yeah,
my father started working for your father. It's
sure.
it's also funny, Polish guy and Finnish guy meeting in Northern Inland, working for American company. Pretty fucked up, but I like that. And from what I always remember, my father always told me, keep with this guy, keep with this guy, gonna give you something good. Keep try to connect with them, and I really like that, especially when you came here for diving. And diving is what I do. It was, I believe, 2012 or 2010. mm, Oh, 2008. 2008. It was when I started my first scuba course as a diver. I was at the swimming pool training for champions. I was taking part in junior champions, and I
For
saw some
swimming.
divers. Yeah, in swimming. Yeah, in swimming.
Okay.
And I saw some divers in the pool that were trained by my instructor. And I asked him what we're doing, and he said, "Oh, just scuba course." And I was, "Oh, everybody can do that? Yes, no problem." And we signed up with my father. And to be honest, I hated it. The water was cold, the suit was too tight, and everything was awful. But
Yeah.
when I finished it, a year later, it was 2009, we flew with my father to Egypt to dive on reefs. And I met there now one of my best friends, Martin, who runs his dive center there. He was sitting on the beach, smoking shisha, showing with fingers to Egyptian guys what to do. And I asked, Martin, what is your job? Because I want to do the same. And he said, I'm the owner of dive center. And it just snapped. My parents were not really happy at the beginning, because I was supposed to go to the med school and become a doctor and heal all the family, which is huge. And they didn't really like that at the beginning, but I can't say they were not supportive. They said that if it's that you want to do, just do it. And
Yeah.
looking back in time, it was good, because uh, I would be still in the training to become a doctor. And right now, from what I achieved in diving, I'm right now holding the highest certificate the instructor can get, which is, so I did that one 2 years ago in Slovenia. It is instructor examinator. So I can not only do instructor courses, but I can also examine them and send their papers to officially make them instructors. Because always the person who is making exam must be another one that is making a course.
Gotcha.
So I made the higher certificate 2 years ago, and it's pretty good. The scuba market is, I believe, maybe as every market, because I'm not in every niche, but I believe as every market is pretty destroyed by people fighting with the low price, and people fighting with um, selling to the masses. The
Yeah. Yeah.
cheap
Yeah.
one, fast one, not really good one, but you can get it right here, right now. 10 people in the group and so on. So I, after many books I read and so on, I thought there's the only way to compete with them is either to be like them, which I hated,
Yeah.
because as you saw on my course, we were mostly one on one or maybe two on one.
Yeah.
Uh, on the course, the course lasted pretty long and so on. Uh, so the only way that was able to win with them is to make something absolutely different, like the red ocean and the blue ocean strategy, something like that.
Yeah.
So I just said I want to be absolutely different. I'm not making a groups. I'm making individual training. My training is not fast. It's long. My training has higher quality equipment and so on and so on. And
Yeah.
I put the prices like 200 or 300% up, looking to the market. And I was in the years of when I started, and when I started, I tried to do it like everyone else, because I didn't know knew much about diving and about business,
Yeah.
especially. So I was training like around 100 people a year,
Okay.
and I was wasted. I was really wasted. I was getting up really early, going back to sleep really late, and every day going into the water, which is fun. Of course, we do it for fun because we like going into the water. But well, I started to have spine problems having 20 something years, so it's not good.
Yeah.
Uh, so now after I shifted to the like premium courses, high ticket courses, I'm doing 20 courses a year, earning the same or even more money I used to earn doing 100 courses
Yeah.
a year. So it
But did
ended
the
up.
idea come before you got the spine problem or after?
It was like
At the same
all,
time?
all, all, all this on the same time. I became to be tired, not only because of spine, but just simply tired because I didn't have time for anything else. And
Yeah.
you know how does it look when you run your company? You are the guy to service the client, but you're also the guy to clean up the shit and so on, so on, so on, so on. So I didn't have time for anything else than just diving itself.
Yeah.
I said it cannot look like this anymore. I need to have time for even I'm not even talking about the free time, but hell, everybody wants to have a free time, even if you are doing your dream job. You just
Yeah.
want to you just want to have sometimes 5 minutes to just lay down, not think about anything, and
Yeah.
it was impossible. It was impossible. So that's why I decided to shift to that strategy, and it's really working good because uh, the fun thing about that is that you don't really need to. I don't really need to focus that much on doing some promotion and sales because with high ticket offers I have right now, I literally need 2-on-1 clients a month. And I'm okay. Of course, won't be a millionaire in this business, and we've got even a saying between scuba instructors that if you want to be a millionaire in scuba business, you need to be a billionaire first.
Yeah.
uh yeah. But we are doing it for the mission to make people dive better, to be safe, and to show people underwater world, and the profits are the second thing
Yeah.
we are getting from this. And that's why 2 years ago I started to invest in training for myself, not only scuba training, but mostly scuba. I was investing in myself in scuba training for like 10 years, starting from 2009, 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
And I achieved mostly everything in by 2018. There are of course some courses I still able to do, but because of the borders and so on, it's complicated.
Yeah.
But because of that, I start invest more in myself in other files, because I started the business when I had like 18 or 19 years old,
Yeah.
and I knew only that much what my father taught me, which is a lot because my father had a lot of knowledge, like your father. But again, it's not the same knowledge you can get from actual courses and books
Yeah.
than from experience from a guy 40 years older than you, being in absolutely different niche,
Yeah.
selling big contracts to B2B companies. It's absolutely different than that what I was selling, but still it gave me some good start.
Yeah.
But then I decided that I need to
Get like
learn
further
something new.
education.
Yeah, learn something new and get experience in something new,
Yeah.
because I can't be 25 and have everything in my niche, because it will lead me nothing to lead me to nothing. Yeah,
Got
so
you.
so I started. Yeah, so I started into actually the first moment I become interested in that field was when you were here in Poland and you showed me the Instagram, because I only had the Facebook fan page back then, and I believe that I don't know, you were making some photo during a training, and you asked me, can I tag you on Instagram? And actually you can, but there is no no
Yeah.
profile here. And you show me the Instagram, you show me some tips. I can grow my account, and
Yeah.
I followed that direction. I did some social media courses, which ended up starting an social media coaching agency in last year.
Yeah.
And the idea and the plan and all the strategy was really perfect, because as an experience from growing my school through Facebook ads and through Instagram and through social media,
Yeah.
I had a lot of good impressions from other dive centers, because I had the expertise from just that niche, and I could show them. And I really had some good prospects, but because of the Corona situation, literally all of them said not right now.
Yeah.
And the worst thing you can do actually in marketing is stop investing in marketing. Even if you have high profits, and even if you are selling too much that you can operate, you should never stop investing in marketing. Maybe you should cut some funds, but it should never be like zero. And but again, if you are not sure if you will ever open again, like it was in some countries,
Yeah.
especially countries like Dominican Republic, depending on tourists only, because I bet myself that dive centers there sell nothing to locals, or maybe one course a year to
No, they
locals.
were. I've been in touch with some dive centers and no good. Very
Yeah,
little
yeah,
diving.
yeah. I even called Jurgen. And he was like, I put my all money, because they really wanted the help with Facebook, and they Facebook didn't really look good, and
Yeah.
he was really aware of that, and he wanted to invest, and he said, I'm in, but there are no planes. There are
Yeah.
no planes flying. And so and especially bad for him, because there was no planes from Germany, and their dive
And
center
yeah,
is German like. So it was especially bad for them. So yeah, it wasn't easy, but because of that situation, I switched a little bit to be generalist at the start, uh, to get some clients who I can just work for, because my niche wasn't really ready for that at the moment. I really picked the worst moment to start, but who would know that?
yeah,
But yeah, we are doing some coaching for some companies right now, so it's not that bad, but it's not what I wanted,
yeah,
because I wanted to focus especially on water sports companies, diving companies mostly, but all water sports or tourists connected to the water sports, because I'm not. I know that niche really good. Of course, I can help everybody with
yeah,
Facebook and with ads, because the knowledge is 90% of it is general, but that 10% makes a difference.
yeah,
And I cannot ask the price what I'm asking for, which is pretty high, to dive centers or to water sport companies, because I
yeah,
know that 10%. I must ask much less to other companies, because people like me who coach in social media, there are tons of them. There's
yeah,
literally ocean of people who are doing ads and social media coaching. So I needed to again get step back and try to uh, do a little more common work, not specialized one. But again, it's working good. The good thing that happened to me, it started last year, and it's continuing to June 2021. I got connection with one of my students. He's really into corporate consulting stuff and so on,
yeah,
and he found out that there is a company in southern Poland which get a lot of money from European Union 3 times to activate to train people on basic scuba level, open water, just
Okay.
to get their make their job situation better. Because if you are holding scuba certificate on the basic level, I don't know how does it work in other countries, but in Poland you've got a lot of more points to get to the army, to the police, to the fire office, and
Okay. So it's like a government program to
yeah,
help people get new skills.
European Union, actually European
Brilliant.
Union. So they did it 3 times in southern Poland, and
Got
we
you.
asked them if you don't want to do it in northern Poland. And actually there was one city 200 kilometers from Gdańsk that was really in need of people in training, and we got a lot of funds to do it, as it is with European Union projects. The money are huge, but you need to spend them all. So it's not like they go right into your pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the worst thing is that you need to do the work, and then maybe
Then you
they
get
will
paid.
and then you get paid, and with a strong maybe, because they need to see all the documents and so on and so on and so on,
Yeah.
because there was a lot of problems
A lot of
back.
scams.
Yeah, a lot of when the European Union in Poland started in 2004, and the first years was like El Dorado. Yeah, people were asking for
Yeah.
anything you
Anything.
wanted, anything you wanted, and they were just at the beginning it worked like that you are getting the money, then you are giving the proof. So,
Okay.
so imagine. I don't want to say bad things about my nation, but Polish people are really good at scams. What can I say?
Yeah.
We are the best. uh, so yeah, it's just the truth. So they started to really check it out, and look at the procedures, and of course give the money later.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of work to do. Especially that for every course I need to drive for like 3 hours to get there, because it's 200 kilometers from Gdańsk. But still, it's something good happening. And again, I'm always try to look it from the other side. As I mean, the bigger value.
Sure.
I'm happy that I can train these people, and maybe 10 years later, somebody of these people will get their dream job because of their certification, and will be really happy. Or maybe if that person get that job, he will earn a lot, and then come to me back again because they were really happy with the training, and they want to do more, or buy some stuff, buy some trip, whatever.
Yeah.
There is around 100 people to train, so yeah, it's a lot.
So
It's a
you
lot. I,
believe,
I of course didn't do it myself because of the individual coaching stuff and so on. I said no, I'm not doing so many people. But what I did, I trained instructors. I found people who want to be instructors.
yeah.
They did a course, instructor course, and then I made them work there. So they have a really good opportunity, because the money we paid them for training actually covered their instructor course. So it was good for me, because I didn't really spend much time driving and teaching a lot of groups.
Hmm.
But I did what I liked more. I did instructor courses, which are actually one of my favorite to to run, and they get a great opportunity, because there is a problem with a lot of instructor trainings in scuba business, because with the book, with the standards, the course needs to last like 7 to 10 days, and there is
Okay.
nothing. Yeah, and imagine being a scuba instructor after 7 or 10 days. It's
It's tricky.
maybe it will sound bad when I say it, but my instructor course looked like that. And after the instructor course, I was like, am I able to teach people after this? I was actually lucky enough to, before I started my company and after I did instructor rating, I had a really close connection with another scuba school in Gdańsk, which they hate me right now. So I get a job at their school, and I worked there for 1.5 season. And because of their school was like focused only on doing masses and so on, I get a ton of experience. So after that, I was able to like teach people for myself, and I knew all the types of problems that can happen. But after the course, I'm not really sure. But there was a people, oh, you know what? We did 7 days course. There was an official examinator which give us a
Stamp me.
stamp. We are perfect instructors. And no, okay, okay. And now when I'm doing instructor courses, they last around 1 year or half year, depending on the level of person who is coming here on the course. There is a guy right now who just finished his last course he can do as a diver, and then the instructor courses. But he is a very young guy who was trained by other dive schools that do not focus on that much on quality. And I said to him, yeah, you're gonna be instructor, but 2 years. That's how much time we need for the training. And he said, okay, it's perfect.
That's
for me
because he's not diving every day, you're saying? Like he's diving once in a while? Or is it why does it take 2 years?
Because of that he was trained in different places. He doesn't have the background that I want him to have, because when I'm training my instructors, I want them to teach with my mindset and with my tricks and with my view on diving. There are a lot of different ways you can teach people. There is a typical recreational way. So we are teaching tourists who is gonna to dive 1 time a year in Egypt or something like that. And you can teach professionals. And you can teach people who are crazy about diving, who will buy equipment, who will look for every dive opportunity, and who will be involved in discussions and so on. And I picked, these are the people who I want to teach. The people who come only to get a certification because they go to trip to Egypt, and I don't want to teach.
And I understand. And that's
so he didn't really had a good background. He made a lot of mistakes as a diver because before even advancing to teaching him what instructors needs to know. Because instructor course, especially in diving, instructor course is not about teaching you all the skills and knowledge, because we expect you to know it. We are teaching you all the trips and tricks, how you can teach people, how you can pass this knowledge, and we'll teach you all the insights of how people what are the problems underwater, what people are doing mostly under stress and through the learning process, and so on and so on. And when he came, we did a test dive, check dive, and I said this, and that there, this is wrong. I won't give you, because I don't want to be viewed as a person who want to sell him another course because you have problems with that. So we need to sell you another course. It's no problem. Your problem will just last longer. And my clients pay me for the time of how long we run a program. So there is so it was perfect between the what he was expecting and what I was expecting. I was expecting him to be a little bit better, and he was expecting me to teach him only instructor stuff. So we are just met in the middle. And the best thing, because there are some people who come on instructor courses, and I want to be instructor now because I invested my money in dive center and we are opening in like 1 month. no, go somewhere else. And that guy was like, he's 18 years old, and he was like, if I want to do good on my university, I will become scuba instructor. And yeah, okay, that's a really good mindset, because he's learning something different, not only diving. So he's not so focused. So he's focused, but he's not so. There is no pressure on becoming the instructor.
Time. Yeah.
He get time. So the only thing we lack is a little bit skills and knowledge, but 2 years, it's a lot of time, and especially there is a training for especially instructor training in my school looks like that he's given real students. Of course,
Yeah.
I'm looking from behind, and if he's not doing anything stupid or bad, but he's given real customers to serve. So he's not only learning how real people behave, but also he's learning how to communicate and how to connect with the people he's serving. So I do it especially because someday I want to move from teaching the elementary courses, even advanced courses, and I want to teach only professional one, technical deep courses or instructor courses, and all my school actually sometime I want to just give it to somebody else. Of course, I still will be the man, but I don't want to run it.
I understand. Yeah.
So that's why I'm teaching instructors like this, and some of them got keys to my company. They just call me, I'm Wojtek, I'm coming, I'm taking this and that because I have my customers. No problem. Because I just want to give them opportunity which I wasn't given, because when I wanted to operate like this as a freelance instructor with the company when I was working before I started my own, it was like, now you are working with us or without us. So I chose without them.
Yeah. And
yeah.
No, so you said a lot, and and I think
good, I believe.
it's good to like digest it a little bit, because for someone like I'm understanding exactly what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people in this, I think, in this world, in this life, haven't experienced a good teacher and even a master, let's say, right?
Yeah.
And it's completely different than the mainstream guys who are just like doing something just to do something, like those guys that you're saying that are tourist dive instructors, or tourist that they run a dive school in a tourist destination that people who dive once a year or something. Those guys could be bartenders as well.
Yeah.
You know, they could be any type of thing. Like they go back home somewhere, they're a bartender, they're working at an oil rig, or, you know, they do whatever type of other work. But you decided to literally drown in scuba diving. You know, you went all in, and I was fortunate enough to learn how to dive with you, and I could see whether
you're also pretty fucked up to go from Caribbean Sea to Baltic Sea for diving.
Yeah, I know.
Something's wrong with you, Charlie.
But I tell you,
but I'm happy that you like that.
It was definitely an experience. Like I also really like diving. I think the diving in Poland was way better than the diving here, for example, because there's just more extreme.
That's uncommon. Yeah, of course. That's more
and
extreme, for sure.
But with the, like, to talk about a general thing with the teaching, like you're very you're not there just trying to get the money and give a stamp and get the next guy.
No.
You're like, you have to understand it. You're willing to even fail someone if they don't understand it.
Yeah, I failed. I actually, it's good that you say that, because I was laughing like maybe 3 or 4 months ago. I saw a photo of a guy who I failed twice.
Yeah.
I saw his photo with another dive school wearing all the gear. Everybody is happy, and the post was like, here are the names of our new divers, and his name was there. And knowing how they teach, because I see them a lot of time on the lake that we've been, I believe that he's not improved anything, and they just give him a stamp because they wanted a good review.
Yeah. So what do you think about that? What do you, because that happens in every industry, right? That happens in the kiteboarding industry. That happens in
the same in social media. The same.
Social media. So what do you think about? Do you think that's sort of a problem in this world nowadays, that people are sort of like just basic, you know, they're not going in depth?
You know, I had a call maybe 2 weeks ago with a friend who is also running a social media agency, and he asked me really the same thing. What do you think, Wojtek, about people who come to courses and their first question is there a certificate after a course? And I was like, yeah, well, looking from it from another direction, looking at the Polish law, if you are registered as a training company,
Yeah.
you are able to give a certificate for like literally everything you are teaching. You decide to teach like whatever, and you can give whatever certificate
Yeah.
because you are registered as training company. And I said to him, well, Daniel, it's of course okay to give the certificates because some people really need them, like they are working in some big corporate company, and big corporate company doesn't care what you can do, they only care what is on your paper.
Yeah.
So giving certificate is not bad, but if the person comes and there is the first question is about the price and about the certificate, don't train them, or train them but tell them that training is hard and there is an exam after training, and only people who go through exam will get a
A
certificate,
certificate.
and
Yeah.
unless despite of they paid a lot, and probably that kind of people will go away. But there is a common problem. People always look on the certificate, and because of there are so many bad teachers, I believe people are not aware that there are still good teachers. And in the digital era we have right now, a lot of people are, I will go on the course and then I will learn it later from courses, from books, from YouTube, whatever.
Yeah.
And there was even a scuba accident in back of 2018. There was three guys on the lake. One was diving and he died. And when the police look at the case, the two other guys told the truth that they he asked them to buy an equipment from like eBay, a scuba equipment, and they all decide to learn together. None of them was even a diver.
I got
Instructor,
you.
forget it, not even a diver.
Yeah.
But you can learn it from YouTube. Go
Yeah.
there. There are also my movies.
No, it's really crazy. And I find that people like don't appreciate the fact that some people actually like spend their whole lives learning something,
Yeah,
and they're willing to share it sometimes for free and sometimes
yeah.
in a course, and I feel like you're maybe the type of guy that
I share a lot of
if
content from free. I share a
exactly.
lot of content from free. I decided when I was thinking about my marketing strategy, after I finally learned that there is something like marketing strategy and every business
Yeah.
should have one. I decided that my way of marketing it, and it's involved in the scuba company, in the social company, uh, is to give value, learn people, teach people, give a lot of content, and then someday somebody will come. And that's
Sure.
what I trust in, and that's what I believe in. And people who I learned from mostly maybe not do the same, but have the same
Mentality.
mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah, in that when there was a first lockdown, they even contacted me from the headquarters of our training agency, because every scuba instructor must be affiliate in a training agency. And
Yep.
then even contacted me because they knew I'm pretty good in social media, and they asked me if I can do some work for them for free,
Yeah.
uh,
To help out.
to run their Facebook fan page. And I was okay, no problem, because we do it for better good. Because I believe that if I give if I give value to some other people who want buy my scuba services, but I will give value to them, maybe they will tell somebody else. Maybe
Yeah.
they will, in some 10 years of time, they will come, whatever. But I believe that what you give uh, comes back to you somewhere, sometime. Maybe not in the literally in profit, but maybe somebody will help you with other thing, some other thing many years later.
But also, you don't
So,
do it expecting something. You don't help someone
no,
and expect something.
no,
Not
no,
exactly.
no.
You're just doing it, and then you just trust in the process. Where did
Yeah.
you sort of develop that? Because I don't think that's really a Polish way, or is that a
No,
Polish way?
no. Polish way is to take your money, fuck you, and give you a bad review.
Yeah.
That's a Polish way. Sorry to all Polish people watching this,
Yeah.
but let's face it, that's who we are. Uh, well, yeah, I learned it from. I believe that if I run through my marketing materials from the very start, I probably would cut myself. Sometimes the Facebook do like the memories.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes I see my posts from like 7 or 8 years ago, and oh my god, delete this. Because when I started, I didn't really have that mentality. But after talking with some people, reading some books, and just looking what successful people do,
Yeah.
I decided it's the only way.
But also, what
But
helped is that I'm guessing a lot of the content and things you read or listened to were probably in English, or were they in another
yeah,
language?
of course. I can't think of a single book that I read in Polish about
Yeah.
business or marketing.
Yeah.
There are okay. There was one. There was a one from that company I told before. The social media company.
Yeah.
They called me. They actually wrote one book about, but it's strict about Facebook marketing. But looking generally about business marketing and so on, I believe no.
Yeah.
99% of what I learned from online courses or books are in English.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that that's why I find English is actually very powerful for people, because a lot of content that is like, I find that brings some sort of value, practical value, is in English. I've also came across a lot of German content that is
Yeah,
actually very good, but some of them are translated into English, and I don't know how well they are translated because I don't speak German myself.
yeah,
But from people that are German and recommended some books or can read German, they said they're pretty well. But then there's also a lot of content out there that's like, let's say, German, that's not translated. No one ever translated it,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So that information, that knowledge is not available to people. And I can
yeah,
imagine
yeah.
in Asia, like let's say in China, there's probably a lot of content as well that might be
Of course.
philosophical, business orientated, that's just never been translated into
Yeah,
Polish,
yeah.
into
It was
English.
an actually a couple of years ago. I think it's not right now. But a couple of years ago, there was an offer from one of scuba training agency that if there are instructors, even the basic level instructors who are speaking Chinese, if you come to China, that training agency will give you a month of training to put you at the highest level of instructor, because
Yeah,
we need Chinese speaking trainers to teach people to become instructors so they can teach people to become divers.
yeah,
Yeah, so Chinese is the future. I really believe that. But when it comes to language, I recently started again learning German, because I had, as every Polish guy, I had German in school, and again, as every Polish guy, I hated German because maybe for English speakers, native English speaker, German is not that bad in sound, but in for Slavic people, the way how the German sounds and the way how we uh, need to talk in this language is really hard for us. It's like every word, literally for Polish people, every German word sounds like the order to shoot you. Really, every single word. Uh,
yeah,
you probably heard it. Sometimes the best example is butterfly. It's Schmetterling in German. Sounds like a Nazi camp or whatever. Sorry,
yeah,
but I start learning German because I caught up a really good German client. Actually, he's a husband to Polish girl,
okay,
and she's speaking Polish. but not really English, and he's speaking German, but not really English. So for now, we communicated in like Pole, German, English way, and that when I decided, okay, I'm the youngest one. I knew some basics of German because of the school, and
Yeah.
I start to learn it again. And because of I speak English, it's much easier for me. But again, it's a challenge.
How
I
did
wish
you
I was
learn English? I forgot. School?
how well. I from what I remember, the English was always there.
Oh, okay.
I think that the very first lesson I had in English, it was like in kindergarten. I was like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, 5 years old.
Yeah.
Uh, and for every step in my public education, I had either English tutor or I had some English extra classes of school.
Gotcha.
So English was always with me, and because of my parents, especially my father, who travels a lot, my parents was like always, uh, whatever you choose in life, whatever you do, we only want you to speak languages.
Sure.
Like it's the only math we care. And I was like, yeah, it makes sense. And actually, when I was in secondary school, I was in English division of that school,
Oh,
so
okay.
we had a lot of English lessons, even some normal lessons in English language.
Yeah.
So it was a lot for me, and I think it helped me a lot because I didn't even feel when was the moment when I started to watch movies
Yeah.
without subtitles or read books without looking at the dictionary every second word. It just came naturally. So I'm really grateful for that. And I decided that even I have a lot of things to learn, there will be always special place in my heart for languages. So I learned a little bit German. I started actually, me and Maria, we started learning Spanish
Okay.
because of that summer house we got in Spain,
Yeah.
when our parents were in, and we wanted to spend more time of winter season in there because of I don't have much diving. I have more social and
Media
online
work.
work,
Yeah.
and then Corona. So okay, sorry Spanish, I really like you, and it was like the best language for me to learn, even more funnier than English.
Yeah.
I really like the sound and all the words, and it's really fun. But sorry, it doesn't give me any profit right now, and German will for sure give me a profit
Yeah.
now or later. Doesn't matter, but for sure it would give me more than Spanish right now. There is also huge need for Russian language, especially in
Yeah.
Poland.
I was gonna ask you. You
Uh,
don't speak Russian though.
well, I understand a lot, but I
Oh, okay.
really can't speak.
Yeah.
Well, there are different divisions of Russia. For example, there is a small part of Russia just close to Poland called Kaliningrad. I don't really know if it's the proper English name,
Yeah.
but after the war, they
Wojtek, it might have cut out. Hello. Little technical difficulty here. Hello, hello, hello. And I thought the internet was only not good in the Dominican Republic, but apparently, I'm gonna open up the invites here. Maybe get Wojtek back online. Let's see. Oh, All right, I just got a message that his internet is out. Wow, a lot of information and a lot of interesting things. I think a lot of people don't. If you haven't met people from all around the world, it's interesting to see the different perspectives that people have, things that we might take for granted or things we never thought of, and how someone around the world sees it completely different. And it's just good to see it and hear it and talk about it. But let's just see right here if we're going to get him back online. A minute, probably. So I don't have a ukulele like Fabricio where I can play a song, but what I can do is in regards to Fabricio's talk, he mentioned something called woodcraft laws, which I've never heard of. And it seems like it's a thing. Be brave, be silent and obey, be clean, be strong, protect wildlife always, speak true, be reverent, play fair when you strive, be kind, be helpful, glad you are alive. I don't know if that's supposed to rhyme, but very true things. This is the lamp of beauty. Be clean, both yourself and the place you live in. Understand and respect your body. It's the temple of the spirit. Be the friend of all harmless wildlife. Conserve the wood and flowers, and especially be ready to fight wildfire in forest or in town. I'm going to read all these in a little bit. Probably tonight. All right, guys. Well, we're just going to wait it out. A minute. Need some water. There he is. Hello, hello. Are we back? That's connecting the sound now, I think.
Okay. Okay. I don't know what happened.
No worries. If you needed to go to the bathroom, take the opportunity.
No, I took it. I took it right away.
Okay.
The first thing I did.
Yeah.
Well, we've got no power. There is electricity off. They are looking at us, Charlie. We are doomed.
Oh,
They
Jesus.
know I was talking and they turn off my electricity. Yes, yeah. But fine. But good thing I charged up my phone like 1 hour ago, so I connected to the internet from my phone, so it's okay.
Well, then there we go. We always find the solution. So you cut out. You're talking about a place in, I believe, in Poland, northern Poland, and you said after the war, and then it cut out. So I don't remember what you're saying.
Yeah. We're talking about Russia. They got the one small province called close to Poland called Kaliningrad, from the name of the city, which is their capital. And a lot of Russians there are divers, and a lot of them come to Poland because it's the closest place and with really amazing wrecks and so on. So they come here to dive, and a lot of them speak a little bit Polish, or again understand a lot. But oh, there is a light again. Hello. So a lot of them come to Poland. Yeah, a lot of them come to Poland and want to learn diving. And a lot of them again speak not really good Polish, but understand a lot of Polish. So me understanding Russian and they understanding Polish, but we cannot speak. They speak Russian. I understand a little bit. I speak Polish. They understand a little bit, and it's safe enough that we can dive with together. But I would not have a business talk in Russian. No.
No, but that's why it's really.
I believe that for business talks in Russian,
yeah. For business talks in Russia,
you start something. For business talks in Russian, you need something zdrowie, which is cheers.
Yeah, all you need to bring the vodka and say na zdrowie.
Yeah.
But that's why, like, eventually with the AI technology.
Give me a second. Give me a second. My internet, normal internet is back, which is much faster than my mobile. So I will change to it, and for sure, I think we'll need to connect again. I'm changing.
Let's see. Nope. You froze. You're there. Well, he cut out again, but we wait 1 second, and we're back.
I'm back.
There we go.
Yes.
So
perfect. Sorry, too many problems on one time.
Yeah, no, but it happens. It happens. I'm surprised there's still power outs in Poland.
So yeah.
Once in a while. You're saying? Sorry.
Okay. I don't know. No, I think that you started saying something.
Yeah, no, I was just saying about that. Eventually, either they'll come up with a technology so we don't have to learn languages anymore, and there might be a way to sync it into you. Let's say.
Yeah.
That might be an ideal, but for sure there is.
Yeah.
We're missing out on a lot of life because we can't understand.
There are even now some apps that you can talk. Yeah. I know that there, even right now there are apps that you can talk in your language and it will translate to another one. I don't know how good they are, but I know some people who use them, and they said it's for like asking where is the bus station or whatever is absolutely enough.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. But with that being said, I want to take like maybe a step back into
Yeah.
what you mentioned is that you instead of going to medical school, because that was the plan,
Yeah.
you decided to go into scuba diving because you saw a guy
Yeah.
chilling on the beach in Egypt and you're like,
Yeah.
I want to be that guy.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah.
So what made you like did you have a teacher or somebody that sort of was like, hey, this is the plan, this is what you need to do? Or how did you come up with your idea of like, let me get
The
certified,
medical
let me get
you say with the with diving how I come up with that I want to start or you say the medical one.
no, the how you when you decided to do diving and get
Yeah.
into it, why did you decide like I need to go all the way into it? Like I need to get all these certificates, I need to do all these
Well, I
experiences.
guess it's just me. Well, that's just me of doing things. I'm when I want to do something and when I want to decide when I decide I'm gonna do something, I
Yeah.
do it 100% or not.
Okay.
So it's not something that I want need to be the best or whatever, but I would like to. So the only reasonable reason for me to become the best is
Yeah.
to learn a lot. And we have a saying in Polish that you learn all the life and you die you learn all your life and you die stupid. So
How does that sound in Polish?
całe życie się uczysz i umierasz głupim.
Got it. Clear.
I believe it was you when you were here on training, and there was this Polish girl doing a course with you. She was Agnieszka. I don't know what her name was, but whatever. And I was talking to her in Polish, and you were standing like you're snakes. Your snakes
Yeah.
arguing for something. Yeah, Polish language really sounds like snakes arguing for something. Yeah.
No, it's definitely unique. You know, all
Yes,
these
it's unique.
Eastern languages.
Yeah, and from what I learned, talking to some language specialists, that actually Polish language is one of the hardest in Europe and one of the hardest in world. I believe the only language that can compete when it comes to how hard it is to Polish is Finnish language. I had this talk with your father, and
Yeah.
he said, "Yeah, Finnish is like forget it,
It's very
forget it."
difficult from what I hear too.
Yeah.
But no, so yeah, no, languages are a whole nother thing. And with
Yeah,
that, with what I was sort of getting to is that, you know, for people who I know that you're sort of known in the diving world, especially in the more technical side. That's because of
yeah,
everything that you've done at such a
yeah,
young age too, because you're also 26. You turned 26
yeah,
already. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah. I had a birthday in June.
And how many hours have you had underwater? Do you have that recorded in a way?
Oh, when I
Or how
stopped
much water
counting it
time? How
many
much
years
scuba time
ago,
do you
but
have?
yeah. But I believe when I was recording online course over a year ago, right now, I know that at the beginning of the course I do some pitch talk to present myself, and I said around 2000 back then. So I believe it's maybe 2000 half right now, maybe 2000 something.
Of
Yeah,
underwater time.
and we underwater time. Let's say we always calculate like one dive, but
Gotcha.
one dive is a very hard thing to say, because when I do first lesson, it lasts like 40 minutes. But when I do my dives for my pleasure, my longest dive lasted 5.5 hours.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say that one dive is some time, but to make it easy, we can say that 2000 dives is around 2000 hours of underwater time.
Yeah.
But actually, one dive is like 3 or 4 hours that you need to for all the procedure, to go there, to pack equipment and so on, to go by boat and whatever. So
Yeah.
2000 dives are like 1000 dive days, because when we do, you remember how it was.
Yeah.
We did 2 dives with all the procedure of making equipment, theory, and then making the drying the equipment and so on. It lasted all day. The only thing you wanted to do is like watch a movie and go to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember
After
that.
yeah yeah, after all day. So we can say it's over 1000 days of my life, which is, yeah, this is like over 3 years. I would say, if you do it every day, it's over 3 years. And for me, it was that 2000 dives. Most half of these dives, I
Yeah.
believe, I did in last 5 years. The maybe even more. Yeah, I believe that like 75% of that I did in the 5 years, because when I did my instructor certificate, I had 300 dives, because 100 is what you need to have, and
Yeah.
I was like, it's not enough to become instructor. So I make it even, not even double. I wanted to make it double, but because of I got a job in the dive school. I dive much more, so I make it triple when I finally got my instructor certificate. And
Yeah.
it was 2012, and every year is like at least 200, maybe 300 dives. So 8 years times 200, 1600 plus 300, we got 2000. And
Almost. Yeah.
it was yeah. So I believe now, right now, it's a bit over 2000. Yeah.
And and is there, okay, so you started getting that back problem, you said. Was the back problem
Yeah.
related to you working by yourself for those first years? Because I remember when I saw you, you were like carrying tanks all day. You know,
Yeah.
even before we went diving, I had the easy life. I was just eating, chilling, and then you're like,
Yeah.
let's go. And then the car was packed and everything was good. But you're like
Yeah.
filling up tanks, moving
Yeah.
tanks, drying gear, cleaning gear,
Yeah.
all by yourself, all the time
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
So is that why you
Yeah.
got the problem, the
Yep.
back problem?
Yep. Yep. And it still looks pretty much like that, with me doing all the work. Uh, when I have those people on instructors level to on training, and they are helping me with other divers.
Yeah.
So I give them the unique opportunity to pack and unpack my car, and to to take all the gear, and to carry tanks.
Yeah.
It's really unique opportunity. Uh, so they do this, but other 80% of time I do this. So that's why I wanted to shift from many huge groups and mass training to individual, because even if I have more training days, because I give more value, it's
Yeah.
still less tank carrying calculating at all.
Overall, yeah. Now people
Yeah.
can't imagine
So
that, like carrying those tanks all day, every day. It's insane.
yeah, it's pretty insane. It's pretty insane, and lot of scuba instructors have back problems. And I'm the lucky one who
Quit
have
early.
it
You
checked
stopped.
early, yeah, who had opportunity to change the kind style of work as I work, because most of dive instructors are not the dive center owners, are just workers, and they cannot change the profile of how they work.
Yeah.
So most of them are still doing it because it's the only way they are that they are getting paid. So I was lucky enough to learn it early, to have a possibility to change it, and to find a really good one, the good specialist
Yeah.
that is helping me. But I'm still using his services. I'm even that my back is way better than it was 2 years ago. I still use his services, because uh, I'm still diving. When the
Yeah.
day will come that I will stop doing all the other dive work, except just being underwater. Like I will have people for everything in my dive school. That will be the moment when I will stop my treatment.
Gotcha.
But for now, I need to do this. Yeah. Well,
So yeah.
I just well, that's life.
Okay. So then how did you stay motivated? How did you not many people what you did and how you did it is unique in the sense that you started when you're 18, you're still working in the business, you're still developing it. You decided to sort of have two avenues of income. So you diversified your skills a little bit so you could become a more well-rounded individual and be able to thrive in sort of chaotic environments.
Yeah.
So how did you decide that? Because not a lot of people do that. And especially not a lot of people from like your part of the world.
Actually, I need to say that's hands down. It's thanks to my father.
Okay.
I think it's because of that. Maybe it's bad, but I think it's good. My father was always I don't want to say a word workaholic because it sounds bad. But if there is an English word for a person who really likes to work and really enjoy his work, I would use that word. I don't know such a word.
He's a valuable citizen of
Yeah,
the world.
yeah, oh,
That's how you'd say it.
and and he didn't even wanted me to do so. I believe he
He's like,
he
take
just
it
had,
easy.
Yeah, he was
Slow
like,
down.
yeah, slow down. I didn't have anything in your age, and what and so on and so on. And he's really supportive and really like slow down. But from what I saw as a little child, as the father who is gone when I'm getting up, and father who is back home when I'm sleeping. I didn't get a bad value from it. Like I don't have a father, but I get a special kind of connection that the work and working is that connection, and I really got cut up in it. I really like that, and there are no many people who like working. Even okay, I'm the lucky enough to say to do what I want in life. When it comes to work, but still there are a lot of people who do what they wanted, but they don't really like to work. They work they work because they have to, but I believe that when I will get to the level that I will really don't need to work, I will still be working. Maybe I will change something. Maybe my work will be different. Maybe it will be shorter. But I don't see myself like spending
not working.
Not working. Yeah. Yeah. My girlfriend is screaming from the end of the road. I will teach you how not to work. Yeah. Maybe someday. But I really like that, and I really enjoyed that, and I believe that it all comes from my father and from what he showed me. It's his way of living, because from maybe I believe that he was a little bit disappointed, just a little bit, that I didn't want to stay in his company and help him with his company, because it's not like I didn't want it because I don't want to work, but I don't know shit about electricity, ships, and so on.
So, but at least you're in the ocean. You're where the boats are.
Yeah,
so you're there.
I'm in the ocean. I'm in the ocean. But luckily, my older brother got really involved in that, and now my father is happy, and my brother is also happy. But I really had these talks with my father that he's like that Martin is not like me when it comes to work. He wants to close that and get a bike and go to the forest and maybe pick up a phone after 3 hours. But I believe that that he will learn it someday.
Hey, there's maybe a business behind you offering services to either train up the staff, or, you know, like oil rigs, they have divers, and even cruise ships have divers, and it's a very technical thing, you know? So that might be an avenue in the future. You never know. That might
maybe.
be the second path.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's what I feel. I believe that's just that thing that I learned from my father. This is looking at things as a business way. So whenever something comes up, I look at it, and I'm not like, oh, how can I turn it into money, but I'm more like, okay, how I can turn it into opportunity.
Yeah, how can you bring value there? How can you be part of it?
Yeah. And I believe that's the only thing that make me do what I did.
By the way, do you have a light in your room?
Yeah, yeah. Sorry.
Just in case. It's getting darker and darker and darker and darker. What time is it over there? It's around 6 o'clock?
It's 5:45.
Oh, okay, because I was about to say it's pretty dark for 6, but that's the light of outside now, the one I see in the back?
No, it's an artificial light. It's really like grayish outside, yeah. And it will be even darker in like 3 days, because we are shifting time to winter time.
Yeah, exactly.
So it will be even darker. The winter in Poland, especially northern Poland, is like the people who work like normal hours, like from 9 to 5. Yeah. There are people who they wake up in dark and they go back at home in dark. Because in December, November and December are the darkest months, and the daylight is like less than 8 hours. So people who work in those typical hours don't see light for all day. Yeah,
that's crazy.
And that's again what I like in my work, that in my scuba work, that I spend so much time outside. And on the fresh air and doing something. I'm always laughing when I eat something not really healthy, that okay, I will burn it underwater. There's no need to worry.
Okay, yeah, because the exercise.
Yeah. You know, I had a real problem with my weight because of diving. You know, the 1 hour of diving burns you the same amount of calories as 1 hour of running. I believe that 30 minutes of diving is 1 hour of running. So, as we said, I've got over 2,000 hours of diving, which are 4,000 hours of running. So for me to get, it was like maybe 2 years ago, I get a plan to move from my 85 to 90 kilos. Okay. And I was supposed to eat over 5,000 calories to do so. Which over 1,000, I believe it was even around 1,500. I made in shakes because I wasn't able to eat so much. And when I got to the level of 90 kilos, it took me like maybe 3 or 4 months to get there, and I lost it because I did it in winter season. I started in like maybe December, and by March or April I achieved it, and the season started. My June, bam, 82. So even less that I started. So okay, that was the last time I'm going to increase my weight, because it doesn't make sense. And even now, when I'm diving a little less than I was, I still see that there is no problem for me to eat a lot and do not increase weight. So I really like it that way, because there are some people who take a deep breath on the sugar alley in a hypermarket, in a supermarket, and they're like, oh. So yeah, I like it that way.
No, it's so. I want to talk a bit about diving, which you know about, like, because you didn't really touch upon it. Like, are you still doing those technical dives, cave diving, wrecks, and everything? You're still doing all this?
Yeah.
So what is like maybe your biggest achievement in diving in a dive? Like, what was your most intense
Okay.
thing?
Okay. Well, I think the most intense thing I did when it comes to diving is there is a place in France called Lot, which is the region of mountains and caves in those mountains, of course, underwater caves.
Yeah.
And of course, all the systems of the caves are really discovered, and there is nothing really to discover, or maybe going really deep and really far away. So it requires a lot of equipment and a lot of people. But still, I believe it's my best thing was what I did when it comes to dive, because when I'm there, I wanted to be there also this year, but because of Corona, I didn't go there.
Yeah.
But whenever I'm there, I try to do one long dive during a day, which is at least 2 or 3 hours, which is at least 50, 60 meter deep, and which is at least around 1 kilometer the inside the cave. So the when you are there so deep and so far away from the entrance, it really gets to you uh, how how fragile things can be, because there are thousands of things that can go wrong.
Yeah.
And you are the only one there, because when I dive for myself, because of the level of those dives, there is pretty hard to impossible to find people who want to dive with me. So most of those dives I do alone, and there are so many things that can go wrong. But uh, you need to know yourself so much and trust yourself so much that you know that those things won't go bad. You need to know what are those things, and you need
Yeah.
to know all the procedures to help yourself when those things happen.
Yeah.
But you need to have a huge respect for the water is the first thing, and huge huge trust to your skills and to your knowledge.
So that dive that you did, that was 1 kilometer in, you did it solo for 2 to 3
Yeah,
hours.
yeah. The longest one was five and half hours. The cave uh, is looks like this. So there is an entrance, which is at zero. There is a small pond. It really
Yeah.
looks like nothing when you go to the forest. And when you go down on 20 meters, there is an entrance to cave, and the entrance is pretty creepy, because of the entrance there is a memorial of a person who died there, right in that entrance. So
Yeah.
it's like have a good dive. And then the caves goes like this to the 70 meters.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Is it big?
And
It's a huge one?
not that much, not that much. It's like maybe a 5 to 6 meters wide.
Ah, okay.
So it's not that much, but it's not just the smallest one.
Yeah.
The way down to 70 meters and the time I spent on 70 meters took me around 2 hours. Way back to the 20 meters took me another hour and a half, and the last hour and a half was a time that I spent in this pond out of the cave between 20 and 60 meters, because of all the decompression I need to do. So it's really hard to explain in just few words,
Yeah, yeah.
but for the sake of the communication, you can calculate that every minute on the 70 meters, it's around 3 to 4 minutes of going out. So when I spend 2 hours going to 70 meters, so I need 6 hours total time to get out, and the time was 5.5. So maybe it was a little bit shorter the time I spent on the 70 meters.
What
Uh,
happens if you went when you're at that 20-meter point, if you would have just went
yeah.
out? What would happen?
Well, it depends on many conditions, on how long was your dive and how deep was your dive, and
Ah, okay.
how is your organism. But giving comparing this to that dive I done, So when I get out of 70 meters to the 20 meter and I decide to go up, I would be probably dead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, that's
that's
simple.
what would happen. Yeah, because yeah.
Well,
the,
what part would you
the,
die from? From
you
like
know,
having gas in your blood system, in your lungs,
yeah,
or
yeah, 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 yeah. That's what we call decompression.
yeah,
Simply in air there that we are breathing. There is an oxygen and nitrogen, and oxygen we digest and breathe out carbon dioxide,
yeah,
and nitrogen is not digested by us. So it goes into our cells and blood, and because of the high pressure that we are getting, the deeper we go, it gets squeezed inside our tissues and inside our cells and blood. And then when you go up, you need to get back
expand.
in the, yeah, it's expanding. And if you do it too fast, it will change from dissolved dissolved into tissue to an gas version. So it changed from dissolved one to gas to the bubble.
And this
And
is
that
what kills
bubble,
you. Like,
and yeah, and that bubble can go in various places. It can go into your bones and it will just give you a pain, but it can go into your heart or into your brain and will,
yeah,
just like that. So but there is, it sounds scary, but actually the only thing you need to do to be safe from it, just to go up slowly and remember, and we teach this in the training, on exact level of depth we use different kind of gas. So for breathing on 70 meters, we use different gas than for breathing on 20 meters and so on. Because on every different level of depth, we need we still need the same amount of oxygen everywhere.
yeah,
But if you're going deeper, the amount of oxygen you are breathing in is getting higher. So amount of oxygen I'm having in my tanks on 70 meters is much lower than I'm having on 20 meters. And the more oxygen you've got, the less nitrogen you get. And because of I got a really small amount of oxygen down there, I tried also to reduce amount of nitrogen by using other kind of gases in my tanks. For example, you use helium, but because of helium is really expensive, we don't use it that much. Okay, so we still got a lot of nitrogen.
yeah,
Also, helium is a gas that we are not digesting and we need to get it out from our body, so we got the compression either way. So the principles that you need to follow are pretty basic, but
yeah,
you need a lot of self-control and a lot of peace inside you, that to become calm and to know that you need to stay there despite, for example, it can be cold and you need to pee or whatever.
yeah,
uh, so yeah, it's a lot of, when I train people to get to this technical level, one of my favorite things to do is dive on 6 meters, which is 6 meters is always the last stop you are doing on the
yeah,
decompression. uh, and I take them on 6 meters and I say, okay, now for 1 hour we are doing nothing, we are just hovering on the 6 meters. And
yeah,
the people ask me why. What was the reason? We were supposed to do training. Yeah, the reason is that after a long dive, you will get 1 hour of
decompression.
decompression on 6 meters, and you will be doing nothing. So it's better for you to decide now on the training that you are not ready for 1 hour of doing nothing, than during real decompression that, oh, I can do this. I need to go up. I can.
Yeah,
So
that's
so
smart.
that's why I take people to do this on training, and 90% of them are okay after that. But absolutely everybody of them says to me that it was hard. That
Yeah.
that it
And
was
especially
hard to.
nowadays with how we're
Yeah,
wired, we always want to do
yeah,
something. We always want
of
to,
course.
yeah,
Yeah, of course. You probably remember that I always carry the wet note with myself. So the only thing we can do is like, play hangman or tic-tac-toe. Yeah.
No, but it's a good way that instead of like just telling them about it, you're showing them you're showing them the light. Like, hey, this is what you're gonna
Yeah,
have to do if you
yeah,
actually want to do this, So it's a good thing, and there's a lot of value behind that because sort of shows people what to expect for the rest of their lives if they want to go down the technical side.
yeah, of course. Yeah,
But
of course.
okay, so I don't know what you're gonna say, what you're gonna say to this. Should everyone learn how to dive?
Well, it's a hard question, but I truly believe that everybody can, but probably not everybody should.
Okay.
Uh,
Why
because
yes and why no?
because diving on the really basic level that you need to dive in most of places like tourists do,
Yeah.
it's not really that hard. Like if you got like 4 days of free time, and you want to get involved, it's really easy. And for all the people are trained, there was no much people that I failed. And I believe that I'm not failing people on purpose, but I have uh,
Standards.
uh, I have high standards. So I believe that 90% of people who start training, maybe even 95 people who start training, will finish it. And most of people who finish training are happy that they finish, and are maybe they are not active
Yeah.
divers, but for sure they will dive someday, for example, on some tourist trip, whatever. But why I say that not everybody should? Because there are many people who are too nervous, too angry, and who cannot calm themselves down. There are many people who think that everything that's underwater is for us, and they're going there, catch the fishes, destroy the reef, and really like being jerks. So I believe that the only people who respect the environment and want to protect it some way are people who should get into diving. Because if you want to get into diving just because there is something beautiful underwater and I want to see it, uh, and you don't care about this environment, you
Yeah.
for example catch fishes, and give them food and whatever, you're doing only harm. And if you are getting to dive, and just because you found a cheap offer, and just because your friends are diving and you want to be cool as them, don't do
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it's for that kind of sport, the brain is way before the body. Because it's not really hard physical sport when it comes on the basic level, because when we say on harder levels, it's really physical one. But on the beginner level, it's not really hard one. I had students who were like 70 years old, so there is no problem when it comes to being exhausted. But the very first thing you need to learn on basic level is how you think, because underwater, the only air you can breathe is either on your back, on your tank, or up there. So you need to think, and you need to a little bit rewire your brain, that you're underwater, that you need to remember about that, you need to respect water, and you need to really trust in your skills, and really do these skills on every dive, practice it. So many people don't understand them. They view diving as more physical sport than a mental thing.
Yeah.
And their attitude is like, so That's the people who should not really get involved into the full course. But there is a good thing called Discover Scuba Diving. So there is just one lesson, and that lesson is that I would recommend to everybody, because first thing is a fun thing to do on your free time, different than going out and whatever. So it's a really nice thing. And then Discover Scuba Diving lesson is rather always done in I do it one-to-one, but other schools don't. But even if they do it, it's much smaller groups than courses or just recreational tourist diving. So whenever is somebody is not sure how he or she will feel underwater, Discover Scuba Diving is the best way for them to check if they can, if it's something for them.
And do you think
So
then that the diving, if someone was angry, if someone was anxious, whatever, do you think that diving could help them like develop themselves, or you think they should go see a therapist first? Or do you think it's like a form of therapy?
It's really hard question, because I'm always saying to my students that they should not bring problems underwater, because being underwater is a kind of problem itself, because it's not our natural environment, and we need to be super safe and super active in our brains to be safe. And if somebody is taking problems underwater because they think it will heal them, it's not really good thing. But if you are trained as a diver and you got experience, skills, and so on, and then you have some problem and you go to dive to clear your mind, that's okay, because you've got the basics. But if somebody has problems and just want to do something to cut off the problems, diving is probably not the best choice.
Go take a yoga class.
Yeah, maybe go take a yoga class, go get drunk, whatever. But
I don't know if that's. I think that's the Polish way. I don't know if that's the best way.
That's racist.
I think if you got problems, I don't know if drinking is gonna help it.
Yeah, of course not. Of course not. But I'm just saying it's the better thing
do
than
something
going
else.
diving. Yeah, because it's well, I cannot say the diving is not safety. It's not safe because more people die in car accidents, and going out on the sidewalk can
die from diving.
You. Yeah. And diving is much safer than people think so, but because it's safe because of we instructors show it as not that safe, and we show it as a thing that is safe after training, and that's why it's so safe, because we put real focus on that. And whenever something happens in diving, whenever there is some accident, it's really huge thing. Everybody's talk about it, and everybody, the instructors analyze that. There are, of course, a lot of accusations and so on and so on and so on. So there is a really big pressure from people for us instructors to make diving safe. So we want people to think it's safe, but after training.
Well, there we go. So that's the answer to that. And what has diving? I think you sort of answered it, but maybe you could like answer it in like a couple sentences. What has diving taught you?
Wow, that's an interesting question. What has diving taught me? I think that for sure, maybe not diving itself, but for me, diving quickly start to mean teaching people, and it taught me self-control. It taught me being more calm, and it taught me being I forgot the word. Being patient. Yeah. I
Okay.
forgot the word patient. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, it really taught me how to connect with people and to be patient,
Yeah.
because even when I was not instructor, I always help people on dive sites when they have problems with, making their gear work, or whenever they have some problem underwater. I was the guy who always like to help them.
Yeah.
So for me, diving was never a thing that stressed me, or I was not never afraid of something that will happen.
Yeah.
Even at the beginning, when I didn't like it, I wasn't scared of.
Gotcha.
So I think it taught me the calmness. Yeah,
No, you have to be calm under there because
yeah,
even with the small amount of dives we did, like the two the two things that or the three things I remember the most was doing the um, when we were doing the training of taking out the rebreather,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
then I think you even told me above land, but I started like taking in air. I forgot what the training was. It was like blowing out the candle. It was blowing
yeah. Blowing the air out. Yep.
no, but
To
the safety balloon.
yeah.
So you're like, blow the safety balloon. So I take in air and I leave the rebreather out, and I'm just focusing on putting all my air into the
Yeah.
balloon. And then I ran out of air and I'm underwater and I start going like, like taking in
Yeah,
water. And then I
yeah,
start
yeah,
like panicking a bit, and I see you looking at me right in front of me. And then you're putting a rebreather to me.
yeah,
And then all of a sudden I remember the training of like putting the arm out
yeah,
and
yeah,
grabbing
yeah,
the extra and getting it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so it definitely teaches you to like you say, being underwater is a problem of its own, and you have to
Yeah,
be able to deal with that. So you have to be focused, you have to be active, and you can't like there's not much room for mistakes.
yeah, yeah,
So that was like something I remember from diving. So it is definitely, but it's also you could die, right? Like even though we're in a
yeah,
lake, so it was relatively
yeah,
we're at what 6 meters I think when we're doing it,
yeah,
or five
yeah,
meters. But I could still imagine if you're 70 meters under a cave,
yeah,
1 kilometer in,
yeah.
like there's not, you can't just say, okay, I'm going home now. Like there's a
No,
process.
yeah, there is a huge process. Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
and with that cave, just out of curiosity, is that all the way at the end, or does it keep going and no one's been there?
No, it keeps going. It keeps
Okay.
going way below 200 and way farther than 2 or 3 kilometers. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So as I said, what could be explored is explored. But for more things we want to explore in those caves, we would need better equipment, which we probably 10, maybe 20 years of technology will need, because now it's impossible with the equipment we've got. The dive would need to last more than a human can take.
Do
Yeah.
you eat in those 5 hours? No.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. But the people who break records, they do. They have some food in a liquid.
Okay, so they just
Uh,
squirt it into their
yeah,
mouths.
yeah, yeah.
No drinking water in here either. You don't like take off the rebreather, drink a bit of
You
water,
know,
put it back.
it was a freshwater cave, and
Yeah.
the water in cave is really fresh one. So I couple of times I took the apparatus out and I took a sip or just flush my mouth. But
Gotcha.
for people who are doing long dives in the sea and breaking records, yeah, they are taking a bottle of water with them.
Oh, okay. And because we spoke about a lot of stuff, and I also wrote down some things that I was like, oh, let me like see about this and that. But
Yeah.
what is then the future like looking like for you? Like, how do you see yourself moving forward in these next months, years, lifetime? And then the second part of this, after you answer that, is um, the tattoos
Okay.
and your nickname in the diving world.
Okay.
So just
Yeah.
sort of, so tell me that.
Okay, so as I told you before, I want to make my school work for its own. So I want to put somebody who is well trained as an instructor by me and who I trust uh, here at the place. So he will be running the company like the day to day, and my
Yeah.
job will be all only doing the high level courses.
Mhm.
And most of my work I want to focus in the online stuff. So social media coaching, since it doesn't make me stuck to one place. I really like to travel and would like to see a lot of places. And the only thing that will make me see a lot of places will be working online. So that's what I want to do. Especially that's why I picked water sports companies and dive companies as people who I want to help with social media, because it will give me opportunity to travel to places which are really nice to dive also. So that's what I want to do in the near and the far future. I
And
believe.
when you say travel, do you only travel to dive, or do you also travel?
I did so. I did so, but because of my girlfriend, I start to travel on land also, and I
Ah,
I
okay,
start to appreciate it, because some years ago the travel for me was only diving.
exactly.
Uh, yeah, but I opened my eyes a bit to beautiful things that are on the land. Uh, and actually one of the nice places I saw, even today I've got a reminder on Facebook that day today we flew to Azores on São Miguel on Azores, and it was one of the best places I have ever seen on land.
Okay.
And there are four more islands on Azores to see. Actually, the one that we've been on is not the best for diving, but the second one, the second biggest, called Pico, is very good for diving. So I really like to see all those places on land and underwater. Of course, underwater still will for always will be the most important one. But I start to appreciate the on land things. So that I want to focus more on online stuff, so it will give me the power to live when I want to live.
And then the tattoos and the
What
nickname.
the nickname Ośmiornica means octopus, which is not really nothing innovative when it comes to diving.
Yeah.
But I chose it because there is a now there is a beautiful movie on Netflix. You probably saw it, My Teacher Octopus, about the guy who is diving and get friends with octopus. How weird it
I
sounds.
haven't heard
Uh,
that. What is it called?
my teacher octopus, my
Ah,
octopus
okay.
teacher, my octopus teacher. And watching that movie made me think again why I chose the name, when I chose the nickname, because octopuses are like the Einsteins of underwater. They're great, they're beautiful, they're really smart, and they're really unique. Like, there is no other animal who acts and looks like that. There was even many years ago the scientists even thought there's a bit like aliens. And there are some things that scientists cannot explain about octopus behavior and how smart they are, because mostly animals who live in the water are not mammals mostly. And of course mammals are the most smart animals on earth, and octopuses are far behind mammals in the evolution, far behind, even they
Yeah.
are behind fishes, and their brains are much better. There was an even I watched it on YouTube. Uh, there is a guy who was doing a Rubik's cube in front of aquarium of octopus, and after a week of doing everyday Rubik's cube, he dropped a Rubik's cube in this aquarium, and octopus made a Rubik's cube look like it should. And I
Yeah.
was like, what the hell? And yeah, That's why I chose it, because I love those animals, and I believe that they are really unique one. And when it comes to tattoos, the first one I did is the one I use for my company logo, and it was back in 2012, I believe. And from that, I don't know, I don't know what they add to ink in tattoo shops, but it's like a cocaine. It's super addictive. When you do one tattoo, you need to do another one,
So
and
that's
I
a
decided.
tip right there. If unless you want a lot of tattoos, don't do the first one ever.
Yeah, don't do the first one, really don't do the first one, because uh, I was even laughing with my tattoo artist. She said that from what she knows, there are more people with uh, of more than one tattoo than people with one tattoo.
Gotcha. Yeah, it makes sense.
It makes sense. So and after making this first tattoo, I didn't really thought about making another one, but I liked it so much that I decided to get more. And it's pretty unique, because I decided that all the tattoos I will get from one artist, because I want the same style of the tattoos. Rather, people rather choose multiple artists because they want different stuff.
Yeah,
But
variety.
I chose that I want to stick with that one, because first, I like her. Second, I like her style. Third, I want to keep the same, everything in the same style. And every tattoo I got is underwater animal, and
Yeah.
every animal is chosen by not only that this just looks fine. I want to get it, but every animal I got is some way different, some way special of its kind. So I choose it.
Like, are you saying like that? I think that's a whale on the arm that I see on your right arm.
Yeah, it's a humpback whale.
Okay, so you only have one whale, or you have multiple whales?
No, I've got only the one, the humpback whale.
Yeah.
I wanted to do something here because there is a blank spot. I talked with the tattoo artist, and she said that the best thing, what she thinks it will fit here, the baby one. So there will
Okay.
be a mama humpback, and there will be baby one, which is absolutely fine with me, because there is no much place for something different. But rather, I've got one of a kind. Yeah.
Gotcha. And why did you pick a humpback whale instead of a killer whale?
Again, a very intelligent one. Very intelligent one. Very different from other whales because of their singing.
Okay.
Yeah, humpback whales. The name comes from humming, and the sound that they're making. And other whales are not making that many sounds, and other whales are making sounds only in some occasion. For example, they're hunting or they're breeding, whatever. And when it comes to humpback whales, they're just talking to each other,
Just
and
chilling.
that's again, yeah, just chilling and just humming. So I thought, yeah, that's something different. I want that.
And how far, I forgot, I was hearing about, I guess it was with whales, and it must be humpback whales. How far is the communication? Like, they can communicate like,
Oh, I'm not that specialist to answer that,
okay.
but it's a lot. It's a
Yeah,
lot.
I thought it was like something crazy. You're like, wait,
Yeah,
how do they hear each other from
yeah,
like crazy
yeah. Many
distances?
many kilometers. I think it may be 100. I
Exactly. Let me
For
see that.
sure. It works because of the sound can travel 4 times faster in water than in air, because of the atoms are closer. And for sure it helps them, but I don't know how far is it.
So
And again, yeah.
no, just to answer the distance, it says 10,000 miles. A whale's low
Wow,
frequency
wow,
sounds can
wow.
travel up to 10,000 miles. Um,
Yes,
yeah,
it's so over 15,000 kilometers. Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
exactly. I don't know if that's like maybe if that's
It's even farther than we are from each other right now.
but then also some say 100 miles, like what you were saying, humpback whales, 100 miles. and they sing songs that could be up to 30 minutes long. Yeah, it's something very interesting, the communication and how there's a whole other life under there, right? It's a whole other world.
You know, we've got only less than 30% of land and over 70% of oceans. So of course there is a lot of life there, and probably there is a lot of things to uncover, because the humans only discovered around 4% of that's what underwater.
Yeah.
And there was only I believe only 2 or 3 people who went to the deepest place in the world. So it makes Moon a place that have visited that more people visited than at bottom of the ocean. So it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy, and it's pretty nice. And from what I learned watching some scientific programs about underwater, that there are some places that scientists go, and for every dive they do, they found a new species. It's mind blowing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I believe that underwater world is a place to go.
It is interesting, you know, and for like, and that's the thing, probably when you do those even more technical and more like going into places that have never been explored, like fishes look crazy, right? Like ocean life looks completely different. And people who don't, like, you see a photo of it, you're like, that looks cool, or that looks weird. But when you see it in person, moving, looking at you, you're like, what's going on?
Actually, I must say that the best feeling I got into the underwater is when there is huge pack of fish, small fishes like herrings or something like that. They swam right into me. Didn't care anything, and whenever I looked, there was fishes around. I felt like the fish in a pack. You should say, I believe you should say school of fish, or
school of fish. Yeah, sure.
School of fish. So I was in the middle, and I felt like one of them, and it was really, really, really nice thing. There was also the some fish are really interested when it comes to divers. For example, the Nemo fish, clownfish. They're really protective when they comes to their place when they live. There are children in the, I don't know the animal. I think it's called animal. The coral they live in. It's some kind of animal. So they are really protective, and the fish this big comes to you with teeth and attacks your fingers. It's pretty cute because they are small, and there is huge 3-meter tiger shark swimming right next to you, and they just doesn't giving a shit about you, because they don't really smell our smell, because we don't smell like fish, thankfully.
Are you saying the tiger shark or the clownfish?
The tiger shark. They don't really care, and it's a fun thing. The 3-meter monster doesn't care, and 10 centimeters fish is angry. You need to go away from my home, and biting your fingers.
So you've swam then with sharks and whales and things like this?
I never swam with a whale. It's one of my dreams.
You have to go to Mexico. That's what they say, right?
I need to Mexico, and actually Azores. Azores are the place. Okay. Are the place to
here in this country too. Actually, during the season.
Yeah, of course. You're as close as an ocean as you could be. So yeah. There was even a whale in a Baltic Sea, but he got lost and he died. But yeah, I didn't see a whale. In many places you can't scuba with whales. You can just swim with them. But in many places you can scuba with whale sharks.
And that's what's in Mexico, right? It's the whale sharks.
Yeah, whale sharks. So they're basically sharks, not whales, but they look like whale, and they eat.
They don't attack people though. They don't. Yeah,
no,
exactly.
No.
That's what I'm saying. Like they don't. There's no chance of you sliding into the mouth. by accident.
Yeah, no. And even if there was a chance that the whale would be more scary than you, I
Yeah.
for sure. Having something metal in his mouth,
Yeah.
it's not really nice.
Which one was the
Uh,
guy, the story, the kid's story where he gets stuck in the stomach of a whale?
yeah, I remember the story. I don't
Not
remember his
Pinocchio.
name. Not Pinocchio.
No.
Not Pinocchio. I can't remember the name. But
Anyways, that's the story. That
yeah,
is
there is a story. There is even a Bible story about guy who was stuck in the
in
in
the
the
whale.
whale mouth. Yeah.
Kind of hide from
So
the camera. You're in it. Don't worry. In any case.
yeah. So yeah. There are some story, but just a story.
Yeah.
But that there is a lot of people when it comes to diving, they're afraid of big fishes, and
Sure.
especially sharks. And actually, sharks are the most cute animal that you can see underwater. Most of them, like 99% of sharks, don't even care about humans because they don't eat any other. They don't eat mammals, so
Uh,
they don't really know our smell. And there is a common myth that if you cut yourself and spill blood in the water, the sharks will come. But yeah, only in the fish blood. And when you make when the, if you cut yourself and the sharks will swim, the only shark that can be interested in human is a white shark. But to see a white shark during scuba diving is not something like if he will come to see you. It's you need to come to see him because they
gotcha.
dive deep. They swim deep. They are rather far from the local reefs and so on. So actually, the white sharks are the only one that can be dangerous, but they are not dangerous because they eat people. They are dangerous because they are just a bit angry. They are always hungry, and no, they don't really. They spend their time far away from coast, far away from local reefs and rather deep. And when people come to see them, the only way to see them is just spill the fish blood in the water, so the sharks will come. And there are divers in caves in cages, which is absolutely bizarre for me,
Yeah.
because the only thing that should be in cage is that shark, because people are more dangerous to that shark than that shark to these people, because whenever shark attack, it only attacks because of it's afraid or it's angry because somebody is taking photos of him and there is a lot of blood of fish in the water, but there is no fish to eat.
Gotcha.
uh, so I'm really against like hunting for fish to see them. I believe that people should dive on the reef, and what you see is that's what you see. If you can
Gotcha.
see some other big animals, it's because you are dumping too much waste in the ocean. So yeah.
No, it is an interesting thing. It is because people think like, oh, it's so cool to see the sharks in the cages, but that's like a tourist attraction that ruins the
Yeah.
environment in a way because it
Yeah.
messes up with the. I went during the quarantine to a place here that's like a little reef where there's like little fishes, but it's a tourist spot. And these fishes, I think they stopped learning how to go get their own food.
Yeah,
So
that's a problem.
they
That's a
they
real
came
problem.
and usually they wouldn't even care, but they came and were like trying to like touch me. They're like, hey, where's the food? And I'm like, what the
Yeah.
heck? I'm just swimming there. And it was crazy to see. And then like they're just following me. They followed me maybe like 5 to 10 meters away from their rock. And then
Wow.
you could tell they're like looking back as they're swimming
Wow.
forward. And then they just swam back
Wow.
once like they didn't
That
come all
was
the way.
too far for them. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah, that's a problem, especially now when there are no tourists and what the fish is supposed to do. Wait for
exactly.
divers. Yeah. That's that's not that's what I was talking when you asked me if everybody should dive. Not
Yeah.
everybody, because there are bad people who do things like that. So yeah, it's not really good.
Yeah. But that's in everything, right? That's in camping, that's in
Of
scuba
course,
diving, that's
yeah,
in all of it.
of
So
course, of course, of course. we got summer house in 100 kilometers from Gdańsk in a forest, and we just like made a 30 or 40 minutes walk, and we took a plastic bag with us, and we were just taking the garbage, which was close to the road, not even in the
Yeah.
forest, close to the road, and we filled like two 60-liter bags
That's crazy.
with just a garbage which was close to road. So imagine what is inside the forest, or what I every time I dive on a lake, I see a lot of bottles, a lot of bags after chips or whatever in the water, and I do not always have the time and resources to pick it back, because there are students I need to watch and so on. But when I can, I always take out some garbage.
Now I remember you were taking stuff when I was there. I remember that.
Yeah.
But
It's a little help, but still, if everybody in the world would do such a little help, then we wouldn't have a problem. So,
exactly. It's because people do nothing nowadays.
Yeah.
That's the big problem. That's the big problem.
Yeah.
But I think we covered a lot of topics on all types of things revolving from business, life, diving. And I don't know if there's anything that you would want to add more, because I think already a lot of it was already said in a way, though. Yeah. Do you have anything to like add into it? Like, what do you, because you already said a lot. You said a lot. So
well,
or is there anything you want to
think...
recap? Anything like major topics that you think are very important for these times? Or
well, it's really hard to say. I believe that at the moment I disconnect and I start do something different, that 10 things will pop to my head. But that's no problem, because I would be more than happy to do more, to do some talks later, and more that one. But what I can say, more, I don't really know right.
so
Right now.
how do we want to leave the message? What do we want to leave the message as? Like, what is you probably see a lot of the chaos in the world, from politics to people feeling lost, from people becoming drug addicts and whatever it might be. What do you sort of see? Because you're a productive individual, right? You're working. You're not a burden on society. You're teaching. You're a student as well. So it's like, what could you recommend to others maybe that you think might help? Sort of like what you even said. You said one thing, which was like, hey, just if everyone did a little bit, whatever it might be, picking up some trash, saying hi, saying thank you, teaching themselves, getting better, that's already a big step. But is there anything else that
first, never stop learning. That's the first thing. I would say that's the first thing, because there is really never too late to learn something new. I think it's a good advice for every person right now, because of the Corona times. A lot of people lost their jobs and so on. And they're afraid, oh no, I'm 40 years old, I was doing this for 20 years, I can't do anything different. So learn something. I know it's much easier to say it than to do it. Sure. I know it. But hey, that's the only way. We need to survive. And I was reading article like 2 or 3 days ago about a girl who lost her job after 10 years of training in that job. She lost that job because of the Corona, and she was facing the moment when she need to learn something new, and she got a good insight that now she was like 30 years old, and probably in the next 30 years of her working, she will probably need to adjust again maybe 2 or 3 times, because of the times how are changing.
Singularity.
Well, we just take a look at what we are doing right now. We are, we can see each other, we can talk each other, and 30 years ago, our fathers sent mails to each other and
Yeah.
get a response after 3 days or so. So I believe that because of the technology changing, like every minute we are talking, they are developing something new. We need to learn. That's the first thing you need to do, and that's for sure the first message I would like to give to people. And the second one, uh, maybe it will sound a bit cheesy, but I do really believe it that if you want something, you just need to do what it's supposed to do to get this,
Yeah.
and you will get this. It will, for example, it will for sure sometimes last long. You will for sure hate it. You will for sure hate yourself, and you will for sure be done many times. But unless you stop, you are a winner.
Gotcha.
The only thing that matters in terms of achieving a success is never stop doing what you want to do, and never stop trying to achieve what you want to achieve.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the person's achievement is not to take over the world and kill everyone.
I hope not. I
Yeah.
hope not.
Yeah.
But well,
That's why I
there
always
was.
think, like, with advice, there always has to be like a star next to it. Like, oh, and by the way, don't harm other people.
Yeah, of course. Don't try
Don't.
it at home. Yeah.
And I think there's one thing that's maybe good about you, and I even see this a little bit myself, and I see this also in a lot of people that are either learning or
Yeah.
teaching, and it's that the money thing is what messes up a lot of the
Yeah.
factors into learning,
Yeah.
right? Because unfortunately we live in the society where things cost money. If you
Of
want that
course.
rebreather for diving, or you want some tanks, you have to pay the money, or someone had to pay the money to do that, to
Yeah.
create it, to have it, to do whatever
Yeah.
it is. So there's always like a bit of a cost that is like external. It's not really a
Yeah.
cost that is real, but it had to be
Yeah.
paid.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's why there's like a cost behind things. But I find that if you go for the experience first, or if you go for um, doing whatever that thing is before the money side, then I think that
Yeah.
already helps you a lot. Because a lot of people are
Yeah.
like, I really want to do this. Let's say it's a job, but this other job pays me $1,000 more. And they go for the money instead of for the, like, their happiness
Yeah. And
or
after 3 years later, they didn't learn anything. The jobs ended, and they are nowhere. Yeah.
yeah. And it's fine if you have a strategy where you're like, hey, I hate this job, but I'm going to make a lot of money. And then I'm going to do it for 3 years or 5 years. And then I'm going to do this other thing and I'll
Yeah.
pay that price. There's people that I know
Yeah.
that do that. And that's a strategy. But there's some people that are just like goldfishes, where they're like very short attention span going from one thing to the other. And that causes like a bit of chaos and inconsistency in their own life.
Yeah. Yeah. The
And
niche jumpers. Yeah.
niche
It's
dumpers.
niche jumpers. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah,
I call
sure.
this, yeah, niche jumpers. Yeah, it's not really good. I also know some people who do what you told, that they're stuck with something they don't really like, but it pays them a lot, so they will have a lot of money to invest
In the
in a
future.
stock or whatever, or in a business, whatever. And yeah, that's really that's what you should do. That's really what you should do. But yeah, that everything should have disclaimer right now. It's true. Whenever I teach people to dive, or whenever I coach them in social media, I always give them disclaimer that
Yeah,
the knowledge is only good if
apply
you
it.
use it, if you
Yeah,
apply it in a proper way.
yeah. And
Because
that's the
yeah.
thing, is like some people don't, they think it's a joke, like those disclaimers, they're like, like,
Yeah.
why even do it, or whatever you say. But it's like, it's real. And that's when you start actually understanding whatever you're doing, that it has an impact, that um, there is something behind it. And it's to be aware. I think that's like the biggest thing, is just being aware that
Yeah.
you could do things for good, you could do things for bad,
Yeah.
and some things don't need to be learned and some things should be learned. And that's like knowing the difference of like that, where should you put your time, Where shouldn't you put your time? These are all like questions that don't really have an answer, but at least should be asked.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's true. I agree with that for sure. Yeah.
So I think, Wojtek, we could end it on that note of uh, the world is chaos, but there is still a chance to have some
Of course.
fun,
Yeah,
whether
of course.
underwater or above water.
Oh, that's a thing I wanted to add. For whatever you do, make sure that you have fun.
Okay,
Yeah, that,
there we go.
that's a statement. That's a statement because having fun is no that's why we live. Come on, we need to have fun.
Exactly.
So whatever you do, whatever is it, have fun. But again, disclaimer: your fun
Yeah.
cannot be killing people.
Exactly. It has to be a disclaimer because there's some people out there that they'll get the wrong idea. And they'll be like, but he told me just have fun and this is fun to me. And the guy's like, no.
Okay.
So it's
Thank
like,
you, Charlie. It was really a pleasure.
no, it was good. And I'm glad that we managed to get this in, even though we had a small technical difficulty with the power going out. It's really surprising because I had a call with someone in Sweden and the internet wasn't good.
Wow.
And I'm like, this is where they said the fastest internet was, right? Like with the
Yes,
grandma and
yes.
everything. And it wasn't the case. So they're really good at advertising because
Yeah.
and then
You
here in
were
Poland,
so-
the light goes out. And it didn't go out here. Usually that's a thing, right? The power goes out here and this is another day in
Yeah.
paradise. But I was surprised to see that even in Poland, the things are still
You
not.
know, we are in this apartment for like 2 months right now. It happened only that one time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I'm bringing the luck.
Oh yeah, so yeah, you're bringing the luck. Oh, okay, thank you.
All right.
So I just want to have one question. When you post it on LinkedIn, right?
Yeah, sure. I can post it on LinkedIn. I post it all on YouTube, and I usually don't edit it. I might edit that one little part that we were
Yeah, of
both
course,
gone
sure.
for 1 minute or 2 minutes or something like this.
Sure.
But
sure,
other than
sure.
that, I don't edit anything, and
Sure, perfect.
we just post it up. And hopefully, people that get to this point in the video, they learned something, they enjoyed it. It is very long format content.
Yeah, of course.
And what I realized, because even my mom was commenting, she's like, hey, some of the talks are interesting and things like that, but they're very long. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, they are very long, but it's not for everyone. And that's
Of
the thing.
course.
That's the difference between the mainstream sort of content and
Yeah.
a more niche, in-depth content where you have to go through that bullshit to find the little nuggets, And that's sort of that right here where maybe 80% of it could be, it's just going to go in one ear out the other, or even 95% of it. But there might be that 5% that brings you some value, brings you some insight, makes you realize something.
When there is whenever I want to read some book, I see, oh my God, again, 300 pages. But even if those 300 pages, even if one page from those 300 pages give me an advice, it can be $1 million advice. So why do not take it?
Yeah. Or it could be turn you from depressed to actually not depressed.
Yeah.
Because you put it into a money perspective, but I think the biggest thing is the attitude perspective, right? It's sort of helps
the mental problems are the thing right now. I actually seen it through looking on my friends that many people in my age have problems, are seeing some therapies or not, or treating themselves. But a lot of people of our generation, the young millennials, they call it, have some problems, and it's pretty weird for me. But I believe that society made it like maybe it's not like that's a cool that you have a problem, but it make people be more aware of it, and people try to start to see some problems in themselves. Maybe some on force, some to just be cool because I also have problems. But some have real problems, and if this can help them, come on, it's perfect.
No, exactly, and that's what you're sort of saying, is that's what I see with a lot of things, is that people don't realize that trends and stereotypes like manipulate behavior and manipulate thoughts and emotions.
Yeah.
And a lot of people nowadays, what you were sort of saying is that having a problem is like a common thing now. Everyone's like, oh, everyone has problems, right? So then people start trying to associate themselves with problems, and they attract problems. And it's like, hey, guys, life doesn't always have to be like this. You know, you can,
of course,
you can have a good time. You don't have to be sad and mad and depressed every day. That's not a normal thing. Even though your social media says it, and some YouTuber says it, and your government says everything's going to be okay. That's not like the reality, you know, that's like a reality that they want you to believe. So, but there is for sure a lot of people that might actually have real dilemmas, and the information that's out there actually helps them. So that's like the only thing that matters, right? And if you're going there for volume just to make a quick dollar, and you don't give a shit whatever they do after that, I guess that's one way to sort of live. But then again, I don't know. I'd rather have that one thing that people actually wave to you in the street and say, hey, how's it going? And not saying like, oh, that's the guy that scammed me, or that's the guy that just took my money for something like a service or a product, and he doesn't give a shit. Even though that might happen, even on the high level, on the high ticket, some people, they might not just be happy with themselves, and they think everyone's out to get them, and that's a whole nother story. So you can't make everyone happy, but definitely
there are thousands of conspiracy theories right now, which is always fun for me to read.
Yeah, exactly. the Kremlin's out to get us.
That's why they disconnected power. I can't reach them.
Stop the message. End it.
We want all to be poor and depressed.
Keep them depressed. Keep them wired. Massage the wiring. It's interesting times, but what I am glad to see, because we haven't spoken in a while, face to face, and I'm glad to see that everything's going good. And you are one of those individuals that I don't think is going to have a problem. You might have good times and bad times, but I think you're always going to manage to figure out a way to get out of it and to come out on top. So
thank you.
So Wojciech, it's a pleasure. I don't know who your girlfriend is, but say hi to her. Hopefully you guys have a good night over there and a good winter, the last few days of, what is it, spring right now?
It's still spring for 2 months.
For 3 more days.
Now for 3 more days we got
the clock.
Summertime, the clock. The winter, the actual winter is supposed to start in the end of December, but here in Poland you never know. It can be snowing in July, and it can be sunny in February. So you never know. You never know. But I like that.
You work with what you got, I guess.
Yeah, I have to. There is no complaining on the weather. Okay, thank you, Charlie.
Wojciech, have a good one, and say hi.
PM me when you post it, because I will make it viral.
Share. Okay. Oh, perfect. All right. Have a good one.
Thank you.
And we keep in touch.
Yeah, of course. Bye. Thanks.